Iran has 1,500 miles of coastline and 88 million people, yet you won't find a single Dubai or Doha here, just quiet fishing villages, naval outposts, empty beaches. Along shores that could rival the world's greatest waterfronts, there are no glittering skylines, no luxury resorts, nothing even close to what Iran's neighbors have built from the same sand and sea. Why does Iran, a country straddling one of the most important crossroads on the planet, leave its entire coastline nearly untouched? The answer isn't just politics or history. It's a story shaped by brutal geography, relentless natural hazards, and a series of high-stakes choices. What keeps Iran's coastline quiet, and what would it take to change that? In the north, the Caspian coastline barely exists as a strip of land. The Alborz Mountains rise almost straight out of the sea, leaving less than 3 square kilometers of flat terrain for every kilometer of shore. That's not enough to fit even a small city, let alone a modern skyline. Try to build here, and you're squeezed between steep slopes, waterlogged soil, and the constant threat of flooding. Down south, the Persian Gulf offers more open space, but the environment is punishing in a different way. Summer temperatures routinely climb past 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and rainfall is almost non-existent. There are no big rivers to draw from, so every drop of water has to be imported or pulled from the sea at enormous cost. Most of the year, this stretch is dry, dusty, and brutally hot. Not exactly the kind of place where new cities spring up overnight. Earthquakes are a constant threat along Iran's coastlines. The Caspian shore sits in one of the country's most active seismic zones, with building codes demanding the highest level of earthquake resistance, Zone 4, the same as San Francisco or Tokyo. That means any serious construction has to use deep foundations, base isolation, and reinforced materials, driving up costs by 30 to 40% compared to the interior. On the Persian Gulf, the risk isn't just shaking. Corrosive salt air and unstable soils mean foundations have to reach down 20, sometimes 40 meters just to find solid ground. Meanwhile, the Caspian Sea's water level can swing up to 50 centimeters in a single year, flooding entire neighborhoods or leaving new docks high and dry. For investors, these shifting hazards turn every project into a gamble, with insurance premiums and maintenance costs that never stop rising. For centuries, the real power in Persia grew far from the water's edge. Ancient trade routes, the Silk Road and its winding caravan trails, snaked across the heart of the country, linking oasis to oasis, mountain pass to mountain pass. Cities like Isfahan and Tehran rose inland, protected by deserts and ranges, out of reach from foreign fleets. The coast was never seen as a safe place to build a capital or concentrate wealth. That lesson was hammered home in 1856, when British warships shelled and occupied the port of Bushehr during the Anglo-Persian War. The attack left scars, both physical and psychological, and convinced Persian rulers that proximity to the sea was an open invitation to disaster. Over the years, memories of bombardments and blockades kept investment flowing toward the interior, reinforcing a mindset that the coast was for defense and trade, never for living large. Even today, that old caution lingers in every policy and plan. Official surveys quietly reveal a hidden appetite for beach life. More than half of Iranians, 55%, say they would choose a coastal holiday if the resorts and amenities matched international standards. Yet most prime stretches of shoreline are off-limits, claimed by military zones, naval bases, or fenced off for future projects that rarely materialize. Instead of hotels or boardwalks, the coast is lined with restricted areas and industrial complexes. Years of international sanctions have only made things harder. Foreign investors, the lifeblood behind Dubai's and Doha's transformation, are largely absent. Without outside capital or expertise, government spending defaults to the familiar, upgrading inland cities, not building new ones by the sea. Even when funds are allocated, they often get diverted or tied up in endless red tape. Locals remember when fishing villages thrived along the Gulf, but many have been squeezed out or hemmed in by expanding security perimeters. The result? A coastline rich in potential, but mostly reserved for defense and industry, not for people. Now, look across the water. Dubai started as a fishing village with no fresh water, blistering heat, and endless desert. In just 30 years, oil money and foreign investment turned it into a city of super-talls, palm-shaped islands, and luxury resorts that draw millions of tourists a year. Doha, too, rose from the sand almost overnight after the gas boom, building green boulevards, art museums, and a skyline that lights up the night. These places faced the same heat, the same lack of rivers, and still built global icons out of nothing. Geography didn't stop them. Ambition and money did the rest. There is one place that almost breaks the pattern: Chabahar. This deepwater port can handle the world's largest ships and sits on a stretch of coast with milder weather and fewer natural hazards. In 2022, officials announced a sweeping plan for new hotels, artificial islands, and a tourist hub. But so far, tangled funding and slow approvals keep the dream just out of reach. Will Iran finally build a city by the sea, or will Chabahar remain a promise waiting for its moment? Iran has over 1,500 miles of coastline and a population of 88 million, yet its shores remain largely undeveloped. The documentary has shown how geography, narrow strips along the Caspian, scorching heat and water scarcity on the Gulf, sets physical limits. Decades of seismic risk, costly engineering, and shifting sea levels add more barriers. But history and policy have played an equal role. Iran's power centers grew inland, shaped by trade routes and memories of coastal invasions. Cultural preferences and decades of sanctions have kept investment focused away from the sea. Today, the coastline hosts naval bases and ports, not beach cities. Unlike Dubai and Doha, Iran has not turned its shores into global destinations, even though Chabahar offers a rare opening. Government plans promise change, but the impact of climate, economics, and security remains unresolved. The evidence is clear. Iran's empty coastlines are the product of both nature and human choice, and their future is still an open question.